Hello and welcome to this video, which is going to feature my top 10 gluten-free snacks for 2025. There may be slightly more than 10 snacks. Now, I'm a big snack lover and I'm constantly testing out new snacks. So what is my criteria for a good snack? First and foremost, I would say trying to look for something with good, clean ingredients, and in the gluten-free world this can be quite challenging because so many of the items in the gluten-free aisle are filled with such random ingredients, fillers, artificial ingredients and that kind of thing. So the snacks that I've got to show you, they're not perfect, but a lot of them are really focused around kind of a smaller number of ingredients that are kind of clean and natural things to consume. I also like to look at snacks from independent businesses as well, so trying to find things that maybe aren't in the supermarket or just interesting alternatives. And I also love to find a snack that's going to keep me properly full, so something usually that's got a good amount of protein in it, but things like nuts and oats and that kind of thing is really good at kind of obviously giving you that energy and making you feel like you've had a substantial snack. So I have recently just been clearing out my snack cupboard. Luckily there isn't a before clip of what my snack cupboard was looking like. It was getting a little bit out of control. Snacks get chucked in there all the time, and then things that maybe I'm not so keen on disappear to the back of the cupboard, and then the good stuff gets eaten straight away. If you don't know me already, I'm Gluten-Free Poppy on Instagram, and I've been sharing my love of snacks and all types of gluten-free food, recipes, restaurants, supermarket products on my Instagram for the past few years. So here is the box of ultimate snacks. So let's start firstly. It's a tough one. Shall we start with savoury snacks? Or, I mean, they're not as exciting, are they? So I'm going to start firstly with my favourite mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack. So really I'm looking for something that's going to give me a boost of energy and again is going to be quite filling. So I'd say the ultimate snacks that I've found for that are the ones from Deliciously Ella. So these come in all sorts of different flavours and luckily all of them are gluten-free, which is really exciting. So my absolute favourite, you'll see I am a big fan of peanuts and peanut butter. So my favourite one here is the peanut butter oat bar. And here we've got relatively good ingredients here. So gluten-free oats, there is some rice syrup, peanuts, coconut oil, coconut sugar, date syrup, peanut butter, rapeseed oil and salt. So yeah, you know, it's nice to at least have sweeteners in there that are natural rather than artificial. This for me is a go-to snack in my handbag because of those ingredients, because it fills me up, but also because it's just a good solid snack to put in your bag and it remains whole. There's so many gluten-free snacks that just, you know, fall apart, aren't there? Whereas this is something you can have in your handbag. Even, you know, I leave mine in my handbag sometimes for a few days if I haven't called upon it to eat it, and it's absolutely fine, and when you open it it's still solid and not too crumbly. So this is my go-to snack from that point of view. Other flavours that it comes in include apricot and coconut. There's also a poppy seed one, although I do find that poppy seeds get stuck in my teeth, so I don't love that one so much. And then there's a really nice cacao, in fact let me check, one that's hazelnut, pecan and maple. But I think the one I'm thinking of is actually cacao and almond. Gosh, there's so many. And there's also cacao and orange, which is a super tasty one. So, you know, if you're wanting a bit of a chocolate vibe, those cacao ones are pretty good. Then I have got Pre-Baked. So this again is another one of my favourite brands. So developed her brand based on having dietary requirements herself, and she's come up with a whole range of amazing gluten-free snacks. And again, there's a real basis here of good, clean ingredients. So both this one and this one, both I think have, yeah, only 5 ingredients, which is really good. So looking at this one first, these are the peanut butter oaty pies. And again, you can get these in lots of different flavours. This one's my favourite just due to the peanut butter theme. But I have tried one that was lemony, one that had other nuts in. There's a real selection. So in this we've got peanuts 50%, so that's going to give you plenty of energy. Gluten-free oats, rapeseed oil, maple syrup, coconut sugar, and that's it. So yeah, those are both gluten-free, vegan, and it says 67% less sugar. Do you want to see inside? Obviously I can't really test all snacks. Well, I mean I could, but I have, there's a limit. As much as I love snacks, there's a limit to how many I can eat at once, but I will get these out as they are super delicious and I quite fancy one with a cup of tea afterwards. So yeah, the only thing I would say about these is that they don't necessarily travel that well, and I'd say the same for these oaty pockets. So these are the jam oaty pockets, a deliciously fruity raspberry jam inside a soft oat baked pillow. So in these we've got gluten-free oats, rapeseed oil, dates, coconut palm sugar, natural raspberry flavouring. I'm going to just open everything now. They won't last very long, to be honest, once they're open. Oops. So you can see in here, this is the oaty pocket, but it's already, I don't think that's going to focus. It's already very crumbly, and that's before it's even gone anywhere. This has been just sitting in my snack cupboard, you know, without any drama. But if this was to go into my handbag, which I have attempted, especially sort of taking it to the gym or as a kind of post-swimming snack, they get really crumbly. So I would say these are better for consuming at home, maybe if you work from home or you're just needing a little pick-me-up. Next up, so this is a brand that I discovered at the Free From Festival, I think it was, but also I've seen them at a couple of other events as well. And I also met the owner of this brand, and she's super lovely. So she's basically created dried fruit. What do we call this? Yeah, so dried fruit, so bagged dried fruit that's free from the 14 main allergens, high in fibre, so really good for digestion, vegan, and then also obviously gluten-free. So my favourites, I did test out every single sample at the Free From Festival, as is the best thing to do. But yeah, my absolute favourites are the chewy mango, and then the freeze-dried jackfruit. Was quite a kind of unusual one. And in fact, I've got a few here. Also the banana, so you can either go for a freeze-dried crunchy banana or gently dried chewy banana. But they're just a nice sweet treat that is actually, you know, pretty good for you. So that's a nice alternative rather than reaching for sweets or, you know, maybe something that's not going to do you as much good. And I'm really kind of keen to support independent businesses. So there's even a little logo on these saying by women built. So I like the sound of that. And I think, you know, gluten-free snacks in the supermarket can be kind of a similar price. You know, they can be, well, all gluten-free snacks can be relatively expensive, can't they, compared to non-gluten-free snacks. And sometimes it's nice just to think a bit about maybe placing a bigger order from an independent food brand as opposed to continually buying those things in the supermarket that aren't that exciting, and ultimately the money's just going to, you know, big corporations. Then moving on to a savoury snack now. So I'm an ambassador for the Allergy and Free From show, and yes, so it's one of my favourite things to do is to go to these shows and meet all the cool businesses there and hear about how they all started, but also obviously to sample the snacks and discover new things. So this was one of my favourite discoveries actually at the event last year in London. So these are roasted fava beans from the Honest Bean Company. So I've got them here in the flavour chili and lemon, and then I was just eating, where did I put them? Okay, I was just eating before we started the same roasted fava beans, but black garlic and herb. And I just brought these to show you. These are just so tasty, and they come in so many other flavours as well. It was, honestly, I was stood there for ages trying to think like which do I need to buy, and they had an offer where you could buy 10 bags for a certain amount. So I was just sold on that. There we go. So in terms of ingredients, these are fava beans, rapeseed oil, seasoning, herbs, spices, garlic oil. So again, pretty good simple ingredients, and just, yeah, really good source of protein as well. So these would actually give you 10 grams of protein per pack. So a great pre-workout, post-workout snack, or just something to fill you up to keep you going through the day. And then next up, so let's move on to a chocolatey snack, because this is also really important. So one of my favourite brands for gluten-free chocolate is On Bar. So obviously, in theory, chocolate should be naturally gluten-free, but there's actually quite a lot of brands out there. Obviously, Cadbury's comes to mind, where some of their bars do have a may contain gluten or may contain wheat disclaimer, which is pretty disappointing, because often it's on packs that, you know, shouldn't really have any wheat in. It's really just because of, I assume, manufacturing methods or, you know, whatever's going on in the factory. So some of the Cadbury's chocolate is fine, but you will see on some of them, I think it might have been fruit and nut or maybe caramel, I'll double check, but yeah, you do see that disclaimer on some of them. Then obviously there's some chocolate that has bits of biscuit in, or other bits that mean it's not suitable. So I like to kind of find a brand where I know that all of their flavours are gluten-free, and then it means obviously you've got a great choice and you're not spending all your time, you know, reading the back and trying to figure out which ones are safe and, you know, all of that. So On Bar is a really lovely brand. So this is vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, organic, fair trade, palm oil free. And they do lots of lovely different kinds of chocolate. So interestingly, their oat milk chocolate is actually gluten-free. So they use gluten-free oats, which is really great, because obviously oats would normally not necessarily be gluten-free unless it's specified that gluten-free oats had been used. So yeah, that's really cool that they use those. And this has got unrefined cane sugar, gluten-free oats, unroasted cacao, cocoa butter, hazelnut paste, chopped hazelnuts, vanilla extract, and desert salt. May contain other nuts. So yeah, this is a really yummy chocolate. Okay, I just found that I've just found more things. I've got so many snacks I want to show you. And then they've also brought out some smaller bars that have got like really cool fillings inside of them. So these are, what would we call these? Yeah, we will call these the smaller bars, let's call them that. One of my favourites is their one that they've created with Perfect Head. So it's got matcha inside, so it's got an amazing vibrant green in the middle of it, which goes super well with the chocolate from On Bar. So I really like that. It's got some good facts on the side here. It's saying that this bar is less than half of the carbon footprint of regular milk chocolate. 2p from every bar sold funds reforestation of rainforest in Ecuador. And they use sustainable naked oats for extra creaminess, which you can definitely taste that. So they also do ones with things like hazelnut or pistachio in the middle, and they've got kind of such a creamy texture to them. So I really like those. This is another brand that I've loved for a couple of years now, and I'd say this is probably my favourite gluten-free protein bar. So this is from a brand called Eat Vive, and they make bars in so many different flavours. This is the Jaffa Orange Fruity Nutter, so it's got a really kind of gooey centre. So these are natural ingredients, gluten-free, they give you sustained energy, no artificial sweeteners, high in fibre, and also vegan. And this one might be my favourite. This is the caramelised hazelnut. So yeah, really tasty, and again they travel well in your bag, they last quite a while. Well, if you don't eat them. So in terms of ingredients, we've got Belgian dark chocolate, hazelnuts, it's quite a long list actually, chicory fibre, pea protein, rice syrup, caramelised hazelnuts, emulsifier. So there are, yeah, maybe a few more ingredients in that one than some of the others I've shown you, but super tasty and super unique flavours. And I feel like they're always coming up with new ones as well. So if you subscribe to the newsletter, you get updates on that. And sometimes they sell a particular flavour of the month or like a discount for some of their wonky bars. So I'm always on the lookout for those. Then a really hot off the press new snack is this one from Deliciously Ella. So this is a roasted peanut breakfast ball. So I feel like it's got similar ingredients to the bar that I showed you before, but we're just looking at a different format here. So this is more of a kind of almost round ball, and if you break it in half, the oaty ball in the centre has an amazing dollop of peanut butter. So this is super tasty, and I would definitely say that this is not just for breakfast. I eat this at all times of the day, and if you're a peanut butter fan, you will really enjoy this. And again, it's something that really kind of fills you up. Other protein balls, so I think protein balls are a great option when you're out and about because they're so easy to just eat, and obviously you don't have to eat the whole packet, although it's very easy to do so. But yeah, these ones from the Protein Ball company I've enjoyed for quite a few years. No artificial sweeteners, no added sugar, gluten-free, high fibre, GMO-free, no palm oil. So these are mainly made from things like dates, peanut butter, gluten-free oats, grape juice concentrate, peanuts. There's a few vitamins in there as well as some other bits. So yeah, that's another good one to have in the bag. And then if you're after a biscuit, because that's what we all need, is a good gluten-free biscuit, then my favourite, I would say probably my favourite brand, full stop, is Rhythm 108. So they make these lovely hazelnut biscuits that are so delicious with a cup of tea. And you can see from the picture that it's got a kind of lovely biscuity outside, and then in the middle this hazelnut, what do we call it, hazelnut cream. Hazelnut chocolate praline in the centre. So yeah, they're so yummy, and they have delicious whole oat and coconut oil biscuits with a hazelnut cocoa fondant. So inside they've got gluten-free oat flour, cane sugar, coconut oil, hazelnuts, sunflower oil, cocoa powder, baking powder, potato starch, salt, sunflower lecithin. Don't know how we say that word. But yeah, perfect with a cup of tea. Obviously this is meant to be a sharing bag, but it depends how generous you're feeling. Now my final snack is a savoury snack, and this must be something that I've eaten almost every day these past few years. So I'd say it really is my ultimate snack, my ultimate pre-bedtime snack, I would say, when, you know, you've had your dinner and maybe a few hours later you're just feeling a little bit peckish. And the snack is the Nairn's gluten-free oatcakes. So I've tried lots of different products from Nairn's. So they do gluten-free oatcakes, gluten-free crackers, but by far this is my favourite, both in terms of the taste, the fact that it fills you up, and also relatively good ingredients. So it's 90% gluten-free whole grain oats, sustainable palm fruit oil, maybe that's not so great, sea salt, raising agents, and that's it. And it's got 6 oatcakes per little pack, and then I think the box itself maybe has 6 of those inside. But yeah, these are so tasty, and because they're basically just oats, they really fill you up, and great with all sorts of different toppings. My ultimate combo is pip and nut, crunchy peanut butter on the oatcake, sometimes with a sliced banana as well. Yeah, really delicious, and probably my most long-term snack of them all. So yeah, those are all my snacks for now. I'm always on the lookout for new gluten-free snacks and other yummy items, so I'll be back soon with more gluten-free goodness. And remember to follow me on Instagram at glutenfreepoppy. Do leave your comments below as to your favourite gluten-free snacks. It's really helpful, both for me, you know, I find it really helpful, but it's also helpful to other people. And I also love hearing about the snacks that you have in different countries as well. So yeah, do share your thoughts below, and I will see you next time.